So the market is pretty flat to red today. We did have an eventful moment today, coming with the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell's press conference on the back of them keeping rates where they are. Markets are looking for a cut in September. We kind of priced in not having a cut this month in July, but they are, or they were, pricing in something for September. But Jerome Powell seemed like he may have derailed our hopes and dreams. So we'll see. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the video. But right now, I want to talk about the overall market. Like I said, it's pretty red to flat. A lot of altcoins were down today. Bitcoin did have a flush out, which we'll look at in a couple minutes. But for the most part, I think a lot of these times, these low moments, these altcoins can't hold a bid. Let's just call it how it is right now. Altcoins cannot hold a significant strong bid. So I think this is still opportunity for us to get some pretty good entries going into Q4 with my thesis. If you haven't heard my thesis is I think we'll have a flat to down August, September-ish. Going into October, I think we'll start to get some sort of massive push. If we go by the 4-year cycle, then we should get our massive run up going towards the end of Q3, going into Q4. So with that being said, let's jump into some Bitcoin TA. Bitcoin right now is sitting at 117,908. And before we start looking at Bitcoin, I want to acknowledge what we talked about over in the Cool Kids Alpha Club. Make sure you guys come over to the Telegram. We looked at the liquidation heat map. We said we have liquidation areas above and below. Look for swings in both directions. Top side coming in at about 119,000 to 120K. Well, 119.5 to 120K. Below would be 116K to 116K and a half. So after we posted that at 119. Around a couple hours later, we got that nice flush out down to our first liquidation or our first liquidity zone coming in a little bit below 116. But like these are some of the calls that we call over in the Telegram. So make sure it's free. It's free too. So I give my real-time thoughts, news, analysis, trade setups. And I got the Discord already. We're almost ready. So we're going to have that too. And that's going to be banging. So make sure you guys come to the Telegram, the free Telegram. And then we'll all segue over to the Discord once the Discord is up. So like we talked about, this is why the market's pretty much sold off. So we had, at first we had a 75% chance that we were going to get a rate cut. Then we had a 60% chance that we were going to get a rate cut a week ago. Yesterday we had a 63% chance that we were going to get a rate cut, but now we have around a 45% chance that we're going to have a rate cut and a 54% chance that we are going to remain here. They're going to hold rates here. So everybody's looking for the Federal Reserve to start cutting interest rates. And I think once that happens, I think that'll catapult the big run up that we're going to have in Q4. But Bitcoin right now is, make sure you hit that video. I have a video up here I'm going to pin talking about Jerome Powell is telling us when the next run up will be. So make sure you guys watch that after you watch this video. But like I said, right now, Bitcoin is in a bull flag. So we have our pole here. So we're going to talk about this next trade. We have our pole here, and then we have our flag. So the breakout target for this, if we did break out, I mean, this would be going back up to our all-time highs. This is coming in alignment right with our all-time highs coming in at around 123. So we will be watching this. And we had our R3. This is my favorite strategy to use in crypto. And I'll give you a quick rundown of what I mean. So my R3 strategy is reclaim, retest, react. Reclaim, retest, react. So first and foremost, you have to have a breakdown of a major structural level, a major support resistance level, which we did. Let's actually go to the hourly. We can see, let's go to the 15-minute. We can see a little bit better. So we had a breakdown all the way down to 115,718. 116,000 to 116.3K was the line that we have. This is our line, our major line that we've been talking about over on the Telegram. We've been talking about on every video. So this is what we want to hold. So when we see something like this, we see a breakdown of that, but then we see us get right back into it. That's the reclaim. And then if we go on the 5-minute, we come to a smaller time frame. We reclaim, we retest, and then we react. So this was a pretty good trade. I did not specifically or personally take this trade. I wish I would have. Let me put that back. I wish I would have, but I was not in tune to the charts. I was driving home, and I put it in the Telegram. I told everybody to watch out for these levels or watch out for a pop down or pop up, whichever one came first. So we got the pop down first, and then we hit our R3 method, our R3 strategy, our reclaim, retest, react. So this was a good trade. If you would have took this trade off of the reclaim and the retest, you would be up about 1.5%. Throw a little bit of sauce, a little bit of leverage on there, and you would have had a pretty good trade. So what we're looking at for Bitcoin right now in the long term, in the long run, is for us to break out. So like we talked about over in the Telegram, we talked about which one would come first, which liquidity area would come first. We said we had one in 116 and 116 and a half. We got that. We came down, took this out. Now the top side is coming in at 119 and a half to 120K. So back to the charts. That's what we will be looking at for us to break out of here, break out of our bull flag. Come back up here. Let's draw it out so you guys will be looking. This is my next trade. Since I missed my R3, now we're going to look for a break and retest. And the break and retest will take us up to our target, our liquidity zone coming in at 120K, which we've been testing. We've been testing for the most part. We tested a bunch of times, pretty much tested it here again a couple days ago, but we keep getting rejected. So if we can break above here, all-time highs are going to come fairly quick, which is also equivalent to our breakout target of this bull flag. So that's what we'll be looking at. And then Bitcoin dominance, really quick, Bitcoin dominance is finding a bit of resistance at about 62%. So me personally, I'm not really ready for altcoins to run. I want Bitcoin dominance to get one more push. This is what I think will be healthy for the market. If Bitcoin dominance can get one more strong push, let's actually zoom out so you guys can see what I'm talking about. If we can get one more strong push into our resistance zone, even if we come up to, I want to get back in this channel. And the channel that we've been looking at is ever since the FTX collapse at the end of 2022. So if we can get back above or get back into this channel, first we have to flip this 62% area. Then we'll probably find a little bit of resistance somewhere around 64.5 to 65%. Ultimately, leading into our Q3, Q4 thesis, I want to see Bitcoin get up here. And if we got up to 60, we'll say 67 to 70%, 68 to 70%, I think this will be very, very, very healthy for the overall market, for altcoin season, for everything that we want to happen at the end of the year. I think Bitcoin dominance has to have one more run to the top side, at least the top side of this channel, and possibly going to our major resistance that we had at the end of 2020, at the coming in at around 70%. I don't know if we're going to get that high, but that would be my that would be my best case scenario for a sustained altcoin season and a sustained bull run, like I said, going into the end of the year. So that's what I want to see for Bitcoin. Like I said, Jerome Powell, they left the rates steady despite Trump pressure, gives no hint of September cut. And this is what we talked about, why the market sold off. So we will be looking for what happens with data. He always talks about he's data dependent. He says the unemployment is looking good. The economy is fairly strong. You know, everything they usually say. But they're going to be data dependent. And I use Forex Factory. I usually come over here and I look at what's going on and what's happening next. So tomorrow we do have unemployment rate. We have non-farm employment change. We have a few things that are coming out, but we want to just make sure we are aware of what's happening. A couple of weeks we do have CPI for last month. Well, it'll be the month before last, so July. So we'll get that. We'll be watching that. We'll be watching unemployment, and we'll be watching the CPI, and then that'll come in confluence with what they say, or that'll give us a hint as to what they're going to do in September. If these things start coming in, like if unemployment stays low, and then if these the CPI comes in lower than expected, then I wouldn't expect a rate cut in September. But I think they do have another one in like another meeting in, I want to say October and December, if I'm not mistaken, or November, December. I know they have 3 left. So they have September, and it might be October and December, or September, November, and December. So I'll check on that, and I'll update the cool kids over in the community and Telegram. So we want to be watching this, and that'll give us a preconceived idea as to what the Federal Reserve will do. But ultimately, we're watching the charts. I'm 80% technical analysis, and then of course we have to throw in our fundamental analysis when things do happen. But for the most part, the technicals tell me where the market wants to go, and then the fundamentals sometimes give it a push into the direction that the technicals already told us that it was going to go. So into the direction that it was already going to go, if that makes sense. So that's pretty much it. We'll talk about some altcoins in another video. I might make another video tonight, but that's pretty much it for everything going Bitcoin wise and what we need to look at for the next few weeks. We will be watching Bitcoin to try to make our way back up to that 120K area that we talked about, getting back up to that liquidity zone. Where is it at? Getting back up to our liquidity zone up here at about 119.5 to 120, and then seeing if we can break above that. And if we break above that, because we just been hitting our head here. Let's actually go back to this. Let's go to the 4 hour just so you guys can get one more little glimpse of what we need to do. So we've been hitting our head 120, around that 119 to 120K area. We break above that, then, like I said, all-time highs are probably going to come fairly soon, and we'll probably get up to, I'll say, 125 to 130. And that's how I want Bitcoin dominance to go up, so we can get that sustained altcoin season later down the line. But we need Bitcoin to go up. We need Bitcoin price to go up. We need Bitcoin dominance to go up. Pull us up like a magnet. Get some more liquidity coming in, get some more pressure, get some more bullish sentiment coming in, get people a little bit more frothy, and then we can get a real altcoin season going into the end of the year. So this is FD White. Appreciate everybody. If you made it this far, make sure you like, subscribe. We're pushing, we're running, and we're looking good. And we want to have a great rest of the year. So make sure you guys lock in, tune in, and I'll talk to you in a minute. Peace.